Are you looking to level up your brand as a real estate agent in 2023? Well, I've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents do this, and I'm gonna break down the fundamentals of how to brand yourself and stand out in a busy space, which is being a real estate agent in your market in this video. I'm gonna break down my 5 keys to actually doing this, and I'm gonna take you through some exercises that I actually use with my clients in our program. Usually is the first thing we do to help them brand themselves and make sure it's consistent and coherent and they actually stand out. So make sure you stay tuned because I'm gonna get into all those points in this video. If you end up liking this content and you want to get on a live call with me, you can join my Facebook group and attend my live bi-weekly event that I'll be running for the next few months. I'm not going to be doing it forever, so make sure you jump on if you do want to get on a live session with me and doing a Q&A. So leave a comment below if you want a link to that event. It's going to be held on Facebook, but also on Zoom. If you don't know me, my name is Eric Preston. I'm the founder and CEO of agentlaunch.com. We help real estate agents build holistic client acquisition systems they own. Go to our website and check us out and book a call if you want to learn more. But without further ado, let's get into the fundamentals of this video. Let's get started here. So the first point I really want to make about branding is you have to get clear about who your target market is. That's the first thing, and that might sound kind of boring, but I promise you I'm going to get into some more fun stuff here in a minute. But it's important to think about. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, well, I don't really have a niche, I don't really have a target market, something of that nature, and it doesn't go to say you have to have a specific niche you go after. In fact, most real estate agents do not start that way. The truth is you can brand yourself in a niche, or at least work towards working in a niche, and you can still work with people outside of that niche. And what you'll find will happen is people will often say, hey, like, you know, I specialize in working with families. Well, I'm not a family. Like, are you okay to help me? And they'll be like, yeah, of course. And you can make an exception. So it's just good to get clear about what your target market is so that you can work towards branding yourself that in the future. So I'll give you some examples of what a target market might be. So let's go over a few here. So the first one could be investors. You want to specialize in working with investors. Now, the reason you want to get clear on this type of stuff is because it's going to help you tailor your content strategy towards those people over time, which is going to take work. But if you're tailoring to investors, you better be making content about the numbers, right? Because what do the investors really care about? You got to think what your audience really cares about and tailor your messaging and your content towards that. So another thing you could focus on is families, right? If you're really focused on helping families maybe upsize so they have more space for their kids, that's a great little niche. I've had clients who worked in that and they became known for helping families. That's what they specialize in, okay? Another thing you could be is downsizers, retirees, something of that nature. You could niche yourself in a specific area and then you want to brand yourself around that specific area. Now, that's the most common question I get is like, how do I brand myself if I work kind of here, and here? Well, pick a place and focus on that. You can always leak outside of that place. It's not the biggest deal. You want to generally brand yourself in an area that you feel comfortable you can expand out from, or you can brand yourself in a personal way. And I'm going to get into breaking down what those mean. Another cool niche you can be in is like relocation. And a lot of strategies we employ with Agent Launch is targeting people moving from other cities because you can be their first point of contact when they move to that city, or at least when they start inquiring about moving to that city. You can be the first opportunity to build trust with them. Someone relocating from another place, they often don't have a trusted agent, or they don't have a friend who has an agent, or they can't get a referral. So if you're that first point of contact, you have a bigger opportunity to build trust with them. So get really laser focused on what your target market is. And I say this loosely, like you don't need to have a target market right away. It's not a requirement. If you want to just niche yourself in one area, great, that's fine. But don't be a jack of all trades. Don't say I work everywhere in Chicago. It's like, no, well, probably you want to focus a little more tightly on one part of Chicago and be more of a specialist in that area than trying to be everything to everyone. When you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you can generally expand your niche and grow. And that way you actually have the branding and you actually have the resources and the lead generation and the skills to do that. But early on, you kind of want to get a little bit more focused. Okay, so that's number one. And I'm going to take you through a few more points here that'll help make sense of this. The second thing you're going to do is you want to actually decide if you're going to brand yourself as a personal brand or as a lifestyle brand. Now, I'm going to take you into my screen here to do a screen share, and I'm going to walk you through an exercise I do with pretty much all of my clients. So what I say by a personal or a lifestyle brand? Well, a personal brand would be like if I branded myself as Eric B. Preston, and that is literally how I branded my company in the early stages. And then a lifestyle brand would be something something more lifestyle specific to your area. So I'm gonna give you a couple examples, and you can actually see some domain names I've bought here on Namecheap that I really, really like, and I'll walk you through what that means. But a personal brand would be like Eric Preston Real Estate, or the Preston Real Estate Team, or Eric Preston Real Estate Group, or something like that. That would be kind of like your personal brand. And then a lifestyle brand are like the examples you see here, which would be more like living in Seattle, or life in Austin, or living in Calgary, or something like that. Now, there's no right or wrong answer to this, okay? But there is a certain way you want to go about this, and that is consistency. So whichever route you choose, you should be consistent about it. Now, I want to challenge you on something. Most people start with their personal brand because it's easy. My brand used to be Eric B. Preston, and I was called EBP Media. Then I made the shift to Agent Launch quite a while ago, and I loved it. And the reason is I grew to really not like my personal brand. And now there's an important point I want to make about this, which is if you go with your personal brand, think 5 years from now, are you going to be excited selling under your personal brand when you have a team and you've grown? Think long term, because most people I know grow to not like their personal brand because they can never step away from it. If you brand yourself as Eric Preston Real Estate, everyone's always going to want to work with Eric Preston. If you brand yourself as something more lifestyle, like Life in Miami, Florida, the Life in Miami, Florida team, or the Life in Miami team, you can recruit people and get people behind that brand, and you can all get behind that brand together, and then you can slowly step away from the brand as being the face, and you can get your team more involved, and that's when you grow from having a leveraged job to actually being a business owner. And that's an important point I really want to drill home, because a lot of people, I promise you, I have so many clients who make this change later because they grow to hate their personal name brand because they realize that it actually traps them. I have some clients who are growing their, downline at EXP. I have clients who are building coaching programs. So their personal brand makes sense. You can see on my channel, Eric B. Preston, like I run my company under Agent Launch, but I still have some personal branding efforts because I'm a coach, right? I have a company and I promote that company. So if you're one of those people, you can have both, or you can have your personal brand. In some cases that makes sense. But whatever you do, you want to make sure you're consistent about it. So that's what this exercise is about. I'll give you really two examples here. Personal brand, ericbpreston.com is the real website. You can check it out. It's just pretty much a blank site though. This is how you would brand yourself if you were doing a personal brand. And then my social would be at Eric B. Preston, right? That's basically how you would brand yourself, and you want to make sure it's consistent. So I'd encourage you to do this exercise, because what most people don't realize is they actually have a bunch of brands and they don't know it. I'll have people who their website is like vancouverhomesearch.com, and then their YouTube is like lifeinvancouver.com or something like that, and their Google My Business is like Eric Preston EXP Realty, and then their socials are like living in Vancouver, something. They just have a few brands, they don't really know it. So do this exercise and make sure this feels good and everything lines up. It's really, really important, okay? The second option is your lifestyle brand. So this would be something like some of these domain names that I showed you here before. A lifestyle brand is kind of like these. So these are a bunch of domain names I own. Honestly, you can reach out to me if you want to buy them. They are for sale. This is not what this video is about. I'm not trying to sell these domains. I bought them because I really like these types of domains and I like these types of brands. So the ability to create content for like a live in Vancouver, BC domain, you have a lot of utility with that. You can make content about anything. You can talk about the lifestyle. You can talk about a lot. You can bring people into that. You can get them behind that brand. There's just a lot more you can do with that than a personal brand. Now, what you would do, let's just take, for example, let's take lifeinmiamiflorida.com. So your website would be lifeinmiamiflorida.com. Your YouTube would be Life in Miami, Florida. Your Google My Business would be your name, Life in Miami, Florida, and then your brokerage. And your social would be Life in Miami, Florida, if it's available. Hopefully it's available. This is where you have a consistent, coherent brand. On your Google My Business, you can put your name, but you don't want to get too mixed with this. You want to either go with one or the other and be consistent about it, okay? So a really important point is you want to stick to it, be consistent about it, and think long term. So it's not to say there's a right or a wrong answer, it's to say think it through. I buy these domains because I know they're worth something, right? I've bought and sold domains for quite a long time, so that's an area or an industry I understand. In some cases, cases, when people sign up with us, I offer them a domain as part of the package in some cases. Because we really believe in these domains, I have an affinity for them. So the third thing you're going to want to work through is your core values. So this may sound like a weird and silly exercise to do, but like choosing your core values, I think is really, really important. And I've done this exercise at other companies, we've done this exercise at Agent Launch, and we've come up with our core values. And I think it can help kind of be like a guiding light to your business a little bit. And so I'll just tell you our core values at Agent Launch and what we get behind. And in our welcome call, like when people join us, we have a welcome call with them. And we bring them in, we make them feel invited. You get to know everyone on our team who's gonna be a part of your journey. And we talk about things like our core values, and we talk about success cases and who they're gonna be learning from and all this stuff. And we make people feel like they've really made the right decision, because genuinely we feel like they have. And we wanna be different and stand out. So like our core values, we have 3 of them, okay? The first core value is lead with value. We always say lead in everything you do, your marketing, everything with value. Teach people, give things away as a way to build trust with people. It's a great approach, and it's something we teach all of our clients to do. The second core value we have is grow or die. We believe if you're not growing, you're dying. There is no argument for stagnation. It's one or the other. You have to have a mindset of growth. And if you join our program, for example, we're gonna push you to grow. You shouldn't join our program if you just wanna stagnate and be lazy. That's not what our program's for. Our program's for people who want to really grow, okay? Now, the third core value, and this is one of my favorites, is simple scales and fancy fails. A lot of real estate agents try to get fancy before they've got the fundamentals right, okay? So we're really gonna push you to keep it simple, get really good at the fundamentals that are gonna take up likely 50 to 80% of your lead generation, your marketing, your sales. Then you can start to get fancy, but don't get fancy right away. A lot of people try to get fancy out of the gate, and they're trying to do everything, be on every social platform, do a bunch of different stuff, and they fail because they're not good at any one of them, right? I started by just building my YouTube channel, focusing all my energy on that. Now we're just expanding into blogging and stuff like that. So you can check out down in the link below, like I have a blog for this video, and we're doing that for every video now. So really, you wanna grow intentionally. So these are our core values at Agent Launch. I think you should have core values for your own business and what you believe in. Potentially you believe in being an ambassador of your community, right? Like go out in your community and interview different businesses, get involved, get engaged. That's a great way to attract clients. So figure out what your core values are and what it means to you, and use those as a guiding light to your brand. Now, the fourth point I wanna make is coming up with a unique mechanism and a unique offer. Now, this is more advanced branding. This is more potentially where you mix branding and marketing, but coming up with a unique value proposition. What makes you unique amongst other agents? Do you have a unique offer? Well, this is something we're launching soon at Agent Launch, so we're really starting to get into this side of things with branding, is like, how do you come up with a unique mechanism? Well, a unique mechanism or a unique offer would be something that makes you stand out that's a bit different. So like 1% Realty, you've probably heard those brokerages, that is a unique mechanism or a unique offer. So you can come up with something that makes you really unique, and it could be really anything. You could call it, you know, the J21 investment framework, real estate investment framework. It's my 21 points to investing or finding the perfect investment properties. That could be a unique mechanism or unique offer. Another thing you could do is like the guaranteed sale method. We'll sell your house guaranteed, or we'll buy it, right? Something like that. There's a lot of things like that that you can use to make your business stand out. And you can go out in the market and you can see, you know, people who've been there, done this before, but just be careful, because some of these things are trademarked and you can't necessarily use them, but you can come up with your own unique mechanism or unique framework that you can use in your branding and marketing that creates intrigue, it creates draw, it creates you standing out. It could be like I created a unique mechanism for an old program that was called the SV3 framework. It was use search engines to generate leads, use video to build trust with those leads on autopilot, and build 3 points of leverage around you to help you scale. That's really the foundation of what our program was built on, is leveraging Google advertising, search engines, leveraging video on autopilot to actually put in your drip campaigns and work those leads and warm them up for you so your videos work for you, and then build 3 points of leverage around you using people, software, and your own money. You can create your own unique mechanism, however makes sense for you, but it's a good exercise to put yourself through. Now, the fifth and final point I want to make about branding, everyone, is be consistent. You're never going to build a brand if you're always doing something different. You will be known for nothing. This is why these exercises are so critical to do in the beginning, because most clients I work with, they have multiple brands and they don't know it. They don't have a clean email or website. So like when you're looking at your email, if you're going to do lifeinmiamiflorida.com, you should be eric@lifeinmiamiflorida.com. You should make everything really clean. You don't want to use lifeinmiamiflorida@gmail.com. That's really unprofessional. Don't do that. Hard stop. Get a Google Workspace account, attach your domain, and do eric@lifeinmiamiflorida.com, something like that. What happens with people is it's really disruptive is they start with their personal brand, they end up resenting it once they have a team and they're like, I wanna go on vacation, but they can't go on vacation because they're so busy all the time and they get trapped by their own business, and people always wanna work with them because they branded their business under their name. Now that's really exciting when you're in a growth phase of your business, but you're gonna hit a maturity point in your business where you're gonna say, wow, I actually have things happening for me that I'm not always involved in. And that's when you transition from having a leveraged job to actually having a business. That's when I find a lot of people start to regret investing in their personal brand and want to go with more of a lifestyle brand or a generic brand. So it doesn't always have to be personal or lifestyle. It can be something more generic, like let's use Google's new AI tool, the Bard Group, something like that. And if your name wasn't Bard or something of that nature, it could be something in the middle, which is just something, a word. Like one of my clients is Bricks, right? If that was helpful, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. I almost never ask for that, but I'm gonna do it right now. If you wanna leave a comment down below, I'll be sure to send you a link to the event I'm gonna be hosting in my Facebook group. So you gotta be a part of my Facebook group to join this event. So I'll send you a link to that if you just leave a comment. But other than that, I will see you all in the next video.